Back to Bliss. Thank you for your subscription. I appreciate it. Stop harassing me, Atsuko, okay? It's not funny anymore. How about that? How about that? I've actually had a headache all day, but I have a really, really funny video I want to show you guys. I've been sitting here in the dark taking ibuprofen for the last, I don't know, hour. What you think about when you're born into a fire? Probably the weather or something. I don't know. Change of seasons. It happens. She's a bouncer. What's up, Border Collies? Well, the view count just spiked like crazy. Roll the intro. We got it.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Burt. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, I got choked up there. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I've had a headache all day, so I don't feel great, but I did want to share at least this video with you. I took some ibuprofen several times today. I've been sitting in the dark, so we'll see how it works out. But this may be the greatest segments of police body cam footage in the world right now. I'm sure it's going to get better. We are living in Trump's America and on Al Gore's internet, so I'm sure it's probably going to get better. But as far as from July 9th, 2024, this is as good as it gets. So this is where we're going to start tonight, and we'll see how it goes. So lock in, chat. Here we go.
In the early morning hours of July 9th, 2024, officers from the Columbus Division of Police in Hilliard, Ohio, are called to action when alarms
Miss
trigger in
Blevins?
several local businesses, reporting break-ins. As they race to the scene searching for the
So multiple businesses, alarms are going off, reporting multiple break-ins.
suspect, officers are oblivious to the strange chain of events about to unfold, culminating in an unexpected animal rescue mission.
Oh God, they're gonna request this body camera video.
At the crack of dawn on a July morning, a man out walking his dog calls 911 after hearing alarms and witnessing a break-in at a nearby construction company in Hilliard, Ohio.
A construction company, and I guarantee you're not ready for this.
There's someone in the back. They're breaking in something.
How many people are out there?
I don't see anything, but I hear them plain as daylight.
Even though the caller can hear the destruction echoing across the street.
So it says, sounds like someone is trying to break in, does not see anything, heard lots of banging, spotlights in back going on and off, a tall secure fence with barbed wire, so unable to check the building and grounds.
He offers no clue as to who might be doing this or how many people may be involved.
I just hear a whole bunch of banging, like boom, boom.
All right, we'll get someone out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Just as emergency dispatch notifies the officers, another call comes in minutes later. This time, the caller is the general manager of Roosters.
I did look on the cameras and I got a description of the person.
Roosters looks like a bar and grill, maybe. So Roosters is being broken in. Construction company and Roosters.
It looks like a late teens to mid-20s Hispanic male. He has I can't tell if it's camo, but it's a print sweatsuit on.
A possibly camo printed sweatsuit. That'll evolve.
And he has a book bag on too. And it looks like he was on foot.
As officers reach Roosters, emergency dispatch relays crucial information to help them secure the building.
So clearly they broke through the door. It's completely shattered. Threw something through it, punched through it, something. Search the whole place.
It almost looks like blood, but I don't see blood anywhere else. I've been looking on the floor, and it doesn't make sense that he would have blood on a rock before he threw it through the window. Yeah.
Did you hear that? It doesn't make sense that he would have blood on a rock before he threw it through a window. Oh, but it will.
Even though officers are unsure about the substance, it seems that the suspect may have used the rock to break into the restaurant.
Yeah, that makes sense that it'd be dried, but it looks like blood.
Yeah, see, it is fresh.
With a probability of blood at the crime scene, officers try to find
Weird.
the source, completely unaware of a brewing disturbance developing rapidly at a nearby business.
A third business.
Go see if I can figure out the answer to this.
As the officers regroup at the parking lot, one of them shares vital information of a
So we got a construction company. We got Roosters Bar and Grill.
potential suspect from a sighting he had earlier.
I saw him over by like Westchester walking on the side of the road. Hey, he literally looks like like those pajamas, like cheetah print pajamas.
We went from a camo sweatsuit to a guy in cheetah print pajamas.
Yeah.
It might look like that in the camera. I mean, I'm sure.
Well, the one I saw was a real dark skin no black. It was also dark, so. Oh no, the one I saw was definitely no black.
The officer's description of the suspect matches the one that Roosters
Leopard print onesie. You guys see that, right? Leopard print onesie.
manager had shared earlier.
It's worse than furries. I'll give that away. It's worse than furries. Furries are not hurting anybody, okay?
As officers chalk out their next plan of action, an unexpected update comes over the radio that escalates this situation into the realm of the bizarre.
So a call comes across the radio. Forced entry into Petland. Like a PetSmart. Forced entry into the pet store.
At Petland, placed closer to Roosters in the same shopping center, an officer reports seeing dogs in the parking lot. As officers race
There's puppies everywhere.
over to the store, they encounter a bewildering scene of chaos.
So he's catching a dog right here. He's catching a puppy right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood there.
More blood.
Definitely can't put him in between those two.
Is there anybody out back?
Is there birds?
Somebody just said, dude, there's birds.
Hey, well, before we clear this, we'll walk it back.
The address is 5253 Hilliard Run Road, and if we can work on the keyboard, the whole pet lands out in the parking lot.
As dozens of animals and birds wander around the parking lot, officers are overwhelmed by the mayhem on a morning destined to grow even more outlandish.
There's about 20 exotic birds, a couple bunnies, and a couple dogs running around the parking lot, right?
20 exotic birds, a couple dogs, couple bunnies running around the parking lot.
All right, 9190, 9191. You guys turn that way on a 50.
Come here. Come here.
It's a border collie. They're just stuffing them in cop cars.
Brother, sister, whatever it is. You guys are siblings.
Well, those puppies are in cages, so he had to have been in the back messing with it.
If you can get whatever you want, next amount of sense, grab the corner or something, just walks that top, and you go.
Just knock that glass.
Hey, we got
It's safety glass. Just go the fuck in.
Boom. Nice.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but all of these doors right here, these commercial doors, can be opened with the simplest of devices. I don't know why police don't carry this. I have one. I carry lockpicks in my pocket. But there is literally a jimmy for these commercial doors. It's just a weird long hook thing that you stick right in between them. You go up to the lock and you flip it, and it'll open every set of these commercial doors that have. Let's see. Can I open this image? That's not a great image. It'll open basically every commercial door that's like this. I have just the deadbolt, the glass front doors. I have one I keep in the Jeep. Let's see. Here it is. You literally just stick it up in there, spin it, and pull it down, and that's it. They're the easiest doors to break into. I'm surprised police don't carry these. This right here will open all of these commercial doors. It's just called a commercial door latch hook. It takes about a minute. Like, it's literally the quickest thing in the world. I don't know why police don't carry these, especially for things like this. They were waiting for a key holder because they didn't think they could get through the window. Then somebody's got to jump through the window and unlock the door. This, literally, you could train people in a day and they could carry these with them. I don't know. But anyways, back to the video. Dogs barking. The dogs are freaking out. The black dogs know they're going to be shot first. It's wild in here. Okay.
Yeah, there's two of them that are busted. Yeah. How do they even get back here though? Because there's no.
So he didn't like let the dogs out. He busted the glass and they escaped.
I don't think you went back. Busted open and they come out of here. Yeah.
Because to open it, you'd have to go through this door, which is, they like do vaccinations and stuff here, but it's locked and it's got this cage around it. So instead, he just busted the glass and they escaped.
I don't even see any keys.
Yeah. Maybe it's like.
The animals inside appear safe and unharmed, but it will soon become clear that not all of the animals are accounted for.
So this is the greatest foreshadowing. It will soon become clear that not all... So he broke into a vape shop. He broke into a bar and grill. He broke into a construction site. He broke into a pet store. I think he ends up breaking like 7 or 8 places. It'll soon become clear that not all of the animals are accounted for. What do you think he stole out of there?
Finding them will result in one of the
these birds.
evening's most shocking
Actual
moments.
case photo.
In the meantime, police will have to catch over a dozen biting birds.
I just see the fucking police chasing birds around the parking lot.
Without losing their nerve.
All right, we're going to start trying to catch all these exotic birds.
I've never catch. I'm not a bird guy. I have no idea what to do. You got blood all over you, buddy. Come on. I don't know if you're gonna bite or what.
Hell yeah, he's gonna bite.
Exactly. Exactly. I was not touching birds.
Yeah, I'm hitting in my head.
Here, you
Go in there, fly away.
That cop just pitched it in the store. He picked up a bird, it bit him, so he just threw it through the broken window.
You can see this bit me hard. Sure did.
As officers turn their attention back to the chain of events that led to this inexplicable situation full of wandering animals,
Oh, I bet they are. Welcome back, Jim. Good to see you.
they find an answer to an earlier mystery.
All right, so the question is so he came out because he's leaking pretty good in there. Did he hit up there? Well, he had to have hit up Roosters because that's how the rock got bloody. I don't see blood.
By the way, extremely efficient. Whoever this guy is, he's carried 1 rock to all 8 places he robs.
Blood anywhere else. And it doesn't make sense that he would have blood on a rock before he threw it through the window.
Yeah.
And we never got an alarm from here, right?
Right.
So he hit this place first, then hit Roosters because that's where the rock came from.
Yeah, but he's bleeding a lot more here.
But he could have wrapped it up in the meantime.
That cop's still trying to catch a bird.
I know, that's the thing. It's like.
As officers look for evidence to nab their suspect, they return to Roosters, and with the help of the general manager, they review the footage from the restaurant's CCTV cameras to confirm if the individual they saw earlier is the same person seen in the security footage.
That's not the guy.
I don't think it's the same guy, so it looks like another guy.
Officers contacted store manager who responded to scene. Responding officers observed store video surveillance and identified the suspect as the same suspect who had broken into other businesses.
in cheetah print. What the hell?
Cheetah print.
Actually, that's him because I recognize that thing tied around his neck.
So that's his cheetah print onesie. Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me now? Hold on a second. I just lost power. Icerate. I don't even know if... Can people hear me now? No, it was a breaker tripped. Give me just a second. So I have one of my monitors. This is gonna sound really weird. I have one of my monitors and my internet on a separate breaker by themselves. So if a breaker trips, it shuts down all of my shit except for one monitor and the internet router. That way it doesn't kill the stream, but it probably killed my camera, my audio. It probably killed everything that's all rebooting now. So we're getting there. Damn, we had a big audience too. I hope everybody doesn't leave. Give me a second. All right, let me see if the audio will work now. Anyways, this guy is in a pink shirt, some type of pink frilly shit, and has something tied around his neck. So I don't know about that. I can't make you. I don't know. That seems like a YouTube problem.
I don't think it's the same guy.
Let me make sure
Another guy.
the audio's working, but I can't hear the audio. Hold on. Okay, there's the audio. Output speakers. Speaker roadcaster.
In cheetah print. What the hell?
Why can't I hear the audio? Hold on just a second.
But I can tell you.
I can't hear that, but you can.
Actually,
Damn it. I don't know. Hold on. Mic check. That works.
That's him, because I do.
Okay, I got it. I can hear it now. Anyways, leopard print. he's in, or cheetah print, whatever it is, a pink t-shirt and this pink frilly stuff around his neck. And that's how they identified him with the security camera at Roosters.
I recognize that thing tied around his neck. It's pink. You saw him pink shirt. Yeah. Yep, we know him.
Officers finally.
So they know this guy. They've had dealings with him before, so they know who he is. They can identify him easily, right? As soon as they saw him, they're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. It's not a collar. It's like, I don't know. It's like a Victorian, like the frill neck stuff they wear. It's a pink one. Like if you look back at like a picture of a king or a queen where they have that shit tied around their neck that's just like a big poof of shit. It's like a loofah, kinda. It's that. And this guy's name right here is Mr. Pancakes. I shit you not. This guy's name is Mr. Pancakes.
Have the breakthrough they'd been looking for. Having identified the one person responsible for the incomprehensible bedlam this morning.
Everybody on Twitch can hear me fine. I don't know what you mean. Went to Twitch, same thing. No one, not a single person from Twitch has said the audio's messed up.
They relay the information to dispatch, who for.
Hold on. Do not. This guy's name is Mr. That's the YouTube audio there. Why can't I hear the audio? Yeah, I'm not hearing it on my side on YouTube either. Not a single person.
Further confirms their doubts.
154, that's our known suspect from a run earlier. It's going to be Matthew Pancake.
Authority.
Matthew Pancake. Matthew Pancake.
These are quite familiar with Matthew Pancake. Only a year earlier, on June 1st, 2023, Matthew was sentenced to 36.
Wait, just listen to me for just a second. If one single person on YouTube I'm not cutting out for, then it's not YouTube. Either refresh or close or open or something, switch. It's not me or YouTube or Twitch. It has to be something on your end because it's the same service sent to everybody. Now comes Alex Bryson, probation officer of the court, presenting an official report upon the conduct of probationer Matthew T. Pancake, who was convicted of 2911.13 breaking and entering felony of the 5th degree. So he's out on probation and placed on community control by Judge Mark Serrett on 6/1/2023. The period of community control was 3 years, 36 months. Subject to general terms and conditions of community control adopted by the court also imposed special conditions. This is why the police know him. He's known to break into a bunch of places for some reason. I don't know why, but that's what he does. That's how he gets his thrill, I guess.
6 months of community control for breaking and entering. Even after being charged with possession of substance, failing to report for community control, and testing positive for substance.
So he got put on community control, like community service and showing up and probation and all that shit, right? Drug test probably. He's out on probation right now. He got charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. He failed to report to his probation, and he tested positive for drug use for cocaine and THC. They still did not pull his probation. When I was on probation, like one fuck up, and you were done. Not this time.
Substances. He was reinstated to community control on March 7, 2024, only 4 months before this incident. While officers inch closer to finding Matthew Pancake, they follow his line of vandalism toward famous footwear.
All right, so they went to Roosters, Petland. There's a vape shop somewhere in here. There's the construction site that he broke into, and now they're getting reports all the way down here, I don't know, a couple blocks away probably, at Famous Footwear. They think there's a break-in. They needed some shoes.
It's located approximately half a mile south of Petland.
Do what? We're good if you want to keep going south.
I hit that corner. I was like, why are there all these shoes and stuff on the corner of Aldi? He broke it.
So this dude pulled into this strip mall, and he's like, why is there like 300 pairs of shoes on the corner of the road?
No, there's up there too.
Yeah, I think this was after the fact, though. Well, it was so he has to head south.
Yeah.
The guy said he has to be headed southbound. This is where like bias gets in the way, because they found Roosters in the north, then Pet Place a little bit further south, and then the shoe place a little bit further south, and the construction site was all the way at the top of the north. They think he's headed south because that's the order they found them in, right? Because they started in the north and went south and found these. He's actually headed in the opposite direction. They don't know that yet, but...
Anybody in there, make yourself known?
The familiar spectacle of broken glass and ransacked merchandise is proof to Matthew's whereabouts nearby.
Well, he's not in here. I'm going to go down here and check behind the strip mall, and I saw a fake pair of shoes. Yeah. And I drove down. I'm like, oh, yeah, he broke in the fence door.
Is there anything, Pat? I see down there by the cart.
Yeah, he threw some stuff down there.
Look, there's shit laying everywhere. Every 5 steps, he threw some shit on the ground, like bread trail.
There's still stuff, Pat?
Yeah, there's stuff.
Breadcrumbs.
Okay.
So he walked with everything.
As officers continue searching southbound, a witness finally shares information they've been desperately waiting for.
So the cop says he is definitely moving southbound. He definitely is moving southbound.
He definitely is moving southbound, so he's...
Apparently he has animals stuffed in his
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Apparently, he has animals stuffed in his shits.
Oh, well, I say there was 2 dogs, bunny, chinchilla, a bunch of birds.
I talked to over here at the gas station. She's like, yeah, he had gerbils all down his pants.
I talked to him over here at the gas station, and he was like, yeah, he had fucking gerbils all down his pants. What? I thought just local meteorologists did this shit, not people on crime sprees. That's an inside joke. My local meteorologist had a rumor follow him for 30 years that he was a gerbil jammer.
Suspect wants with gerbils stuffed inside his pants is anyone's guess. But officers are about to find out soon with a new break in the case.
And where are you, ma'am?
I'm in the parking lot of Big Lots. Have you heard about the guy who broke into Petland?
Yes.
I'm looking right at him. He's asleep on a bench.
So he went and set all these animals free, took all the gerbils he could find and shoved them down his pants, walked north to Big Lots, and took a nap on a bench.
The Big Lots is located approximately 3/4 of a mile north of
See, they were going south still, and this is actually north, probably 3 blocks.
Petland. This frustrating revelation means that the officers were barking up the wrong tree, following Matthew's trail in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it looks like he also tried to break into the smokehouse, vape shop. The
Vape shop?
Shattered and there's a rock on the ground.
At long last, authorities
He finally gave up his rock.
located their perpetrator. but they have to act fast before he awakes and commits more acts of destruction.
So they're going to try to catch him while he's still asleep.
Oh, he's moving. Oh, wait, no.
All right, let me know when he leaves if he gets up.
No, looks like he's just scratching his face. He's still laying there.
They think the suspect is sleeping on the bench. He's in a leopard print onesie.
South.
So these cops don't know. I don't know why they don't know this area well. I don't know if this is like they're filling in, they're helping, they're new. I don't know. They have no idea. They just start guessing where Big Lots is.
Roberts. Wait. Yeah, Roberts is down there, right? I don't know this. I don't know. Yeah.
Is it?
Wait. There's Nike Drive. No, it's north. Turn around.
After a fruitless wild goose chase leading south, officers who are unfamiliar.
Just wait. The funniest part is still to come. These cops know it's fucking hilarious. They still got to do their job. Wait till they all start screaming, Mr. Pancake, stop resisting. Mr. Pancake.
With the area frantically search for the Big Lots.
Big Lots.
That's Renner. This is Roberts. Go. Cut it. Go. Go.
Where are we at?
Look, I made a game time call. What is this road? I don't know what this road is.
So they stop almost right beside Big Lots. They start looking for Big Lots, and they see it.
Big Lots is there. Cut right. I mean, we're at Big Lots, right? Yeah.
Come back around again.
Oh, where? God damn it, Ian! Come back around.
Come back around where?
I don't know.
Oh, he's right here.
They drove past him.
Past it.
Okay.
Here we go. It's go time now, baby. Mr. Pancakes. We got to save these animals.
I'm getting
Look at him. He's living his best fucking life, bro. Shoes, vape, construction equipment, gerbils, a bottle of whiskey he stole from the rooster.
Moments later, backup arrived.
If we could all be so lucky.
And a frenzied struggle ensues as officers pounce on Matthew and attempt to put an end to this night of havoc.
He's oblivious, too. He's out.
Second hands. We're getting close. Yeah, I got calls done.
Mr. Pancake, you're under arrest.
Mr. Pancake, you're under arrest. I couldn't say it. I just have to tase him or something. I couldn't say it.
Second hands. We're getting close. Yeah, I got calls done.
Mr. Pancake, you're under arrest.
Don't move.
Get on your belly.
They're dragging him across the parking lot screaming, don't move! Don't move!
On your belly. Roll over. Get on your belly, Mr. Pancake.
Get on your belly.
In the name of the law, Pancake, get on your belly.
That cop just says, in the name of the law, Pancake, get on your belly. They're dragging him by his legs and his arms, screaming, don't move! In the name of the law, Pancake, get on your belly! That is a line from a cheesy, fucking spy movie where the arch villain's name's Pancake.
I got one for you. Kidding me? What the? Give up your other hand.
I got it. Other hand.
In the name of the law, Pancake.
Right here.
How many times have you ever... They're doing this on purpose, right? How many times have you ever... We are in a different reality. How many times have you ever heard cops keep saying somebody by their last fucking name over and over and over and over and over again? Pancake, get down!
There's a lot of blood.
After subduing him, officers notice copious amounts of blood leaking from Matthew's wounded hands.
Those are squished gerbils.
But this is far from the most compelling piece of evidence they're about to uncover.
Knew we'd find him.
Good job, Mr. Pancakes.
Knew we'd find him.
eventually. Where are the gerbils?
Where are the gerbils? All right.
Where are the gerbils? Where are they? Give them to me, Pancake.
In case nobody mentioned it already, you're under arrest. I think we did like 7 times. Go ahead and roll them on the side.
You got clothes on under this? Where's the pink / white?
He said he was taking them for arson yesterday.
Oh, there's something in this. Yeah, what am I even arrested?
There's something in his leg.
Okay.
He said this is bullshit. I was literally just walking around. Just walking around, taking a nap. Those are my friend's gerbils. He asked me to hold them for him.
Grab your hand.
My hands have been working all day. I've been all 80.
As Matthew offers weak excuses for the cuts, officers are closer to confirming what the witness had reported.
Right.
I saw this a couple months ago. I don't know why I didn't share it on the stream. I don't know if I didn't stream that day or something.
439 Roberts for a copy. And
Mariah reminded me of it today. She sent it to me.
is it okay for the medics to go in? I told him it was.
Yep, we got him got down. The gerbil bandit.
Is it glass?
439 Roberts for a copy. And is it okay for the medics to go in? I told him it was.
Yep, we got him got down. The gerbil bandit.
The gerbil bandits. We got him cuffed up. The gerbil bandits, he says.
Is it glass?
Glass. There's a dog collar.
There's a dog collar.
What the hell am I under arrest for? Seriously.
B&E.
Theft.
Criminal damaging.
Oh, God, there's
Using animals. Oh, there are gerbils in there.
He has his pants at the bottom, stuffed full of shit so the gerbils can't escape. They just found the first gerbil.
Animal abuse.
What the heck? I got a gerbil. What the heck?
See that sock and shit he had stuffed in his pants?
There's
Multiple gerbils.
in his pants.
Multiple gerbils recovered.
Multiple gerbils recovered, he says, over the police frequency radio. This is not real life.
Astonishingly, 2 live gerbils are recovered from Matthew's pants, and against all odds, they appear to be unharmed.
Emotionally, maybe physically. Emotionally, no fucking way.
Yeah, okay. We're just finding that our suspect had multiple gerbils in his hands.
They're just saying stupid shit on the radio now. Please be advised, multiple gerbils have been recovered from our suspect's pants.
Okay.
Somebody get my shoes. Do you have any more pets? Do you have any more gerbils on you?
Please don't tell me you put a...
Okay.
We're just finding that our suspect had multiple gerbils in his hands.
Okay.
Somebody get my shoes. Do you have any more pets? Do you have any more gerbils on you?
Please don't tell me you put a gerbil somewhere else.
Grab my shoes.
For your safety, is there a gerbil inside you?
Grab my shears and cut further up that pant leg.
Without a doubt, hunting for gerbils inside Matthew is the last thing any of these officers want to do.
And probably this one because there's in there too.
I don't do rats. Mike's, I don't.
It's not a rat, it's a gerbil.
It's a gerbil, dude. Is there a gerbil in your ass? We must ask.
Breaking and entering.
We've told you multiple times. Blood all over you.
This cop is still holding gerbils in his hands.
I don't.
He shows them to him. Look, he's just standing there holding 2 gerbils. That was our weatherman. We already talked about that.
And entering.
We've told you multiple times. Blood all over you, and you have merchandise
And glass.
that you stole.
And gerbils.
And gerbils that you stole and abused.
Cody, you know what you gotta do.
You know what you got to do.
The situation immediately moves from shocking to hilarious as officers struggle to secure the gerbils.
Want a bag for them? I don't know. That seems mean. They've been traumatized enough.
I mean, the shit.
Oh, these are some boots.
They end up making a pretty shitty decision. They put them in a paper bag. Squat and cough, Mr. Pancake.
Do you want me to hang on to these as evidence or photograph them and return them to the store? Let's check. Make sure when we stand him up, we check him real carefully for more gerbils in his pants.
Yeah.
Lots of glass falling out.
LT, we got the I'm sorry, LTs. We got the gerbils.
Yeah. We're in his
hold
pants. Oh, this is the greatest.
And by the way, he went up to a complete stranger at a gas station and told them, like, hey, man, what you up to? And they're like, nothing. What about you? And he's like, just got a bunch of gerbils in my pants. I got to go.
Matthew offers no explanation for his actions and is taken into custody.
Yeah, I hope everything's going all right, Jim. Good to see you.
I don't know. We're going to take a picture of him and take him back to the pet store.
Tag him and bag him, baby.
So far.
They said he had two in his.
Oh, it was in his.
He had all that litter and stuff shoved in there.
They were living in his.
So he had the wood chips they live in. He had wood chips. Yeah, we are on Discord now, Jim, or we try to be. I know there's still people on Telegram, but I don't really do much in there but post the show. But we're trying to move to the Discord community. Anyways, he had the wood chips, the cedar shavings or whatever, stuffed down his pants too. That was all the shit that was falling out besides the glass.
They were desperately trying to escape his pant bag. They were not living there by any means.
Amid a surreal situation involving property
Everybody's taking pictures.
destruction, bleeding wounds, and stolen gerbils, officers pause a moment to document this unforgettable night.
Jim, you might have been around when we were on Discord before, though. You might still have an account there. Can't remember.
I'm not like, we're not going to put him in a bag and take him to the park.
I mean, if they're not going to be able to sell them, maybe we can keep them as 8-sub mascots.
Yeah. If you got your gloves off, do you mind folding those up for me? Oh, you got blood on you? He's going to have to take those with us and go back over it. They're getting anxious.
They're getting anxious.
Put them in your pants.
That cop said they're getting anxious, and the other cop said, well, put them in your pants.
He's going to have to take those with us and go back over it. They're getting anxious.
Put them in your pants.
Are we going to take them back to the pet
Yeah. Oh, okay. They're really trying to get away. Does somebody have a paper bag?
Can they chew their way out on that?
Yes. If they feel like they need to. If they feel like they can hang out there, they'll just hang out there. But if they feel like they need to escape, they'll just chew through a paper bag.
They're going to get in a crash because the gerbils are going to break free, and they're going to jump in the well. I see it now.
What was the contributing factor? The escaped gerbil.
4-minute ride back.
They're making jokes about them escaping and causing a car wreck, and the contributing factor would be the gerbil escaping.
They're gerbils. Kiss it.
All right, you're holding that.
They're getting super anxious. Put them in your pants.
We're going to run these back.
No, I got those in gray.
There's no guarantee how many gerbils he actually had in his pants, because I'm sure some of them had to escape while he was sleeping, while he was staggering around and breaking into other. He could have had 20 in there for all we know. And they just become mice then, right? They'll just take off and hide somewhere.
But I am concerned about these chewing their way out.
Those are my good stuff, too.
Yeah. Ooh, I can feel them.
Ooh, I can feel them.
The cooperation name for this. That would on my resume that I led Operation Gerbil Bandit.
Operation Gerbil.
Oh, God, they're going to request this body camera video.
Oh, God. They're going to request this body cam video. You're absolutely fucking right, we are.
Do you have the gerbils?
Yes, I got the gerbils.
Sir, ma'am.
83.
We're going to have a couple of gerbil 5-1s back at Petland.
I copy. Are they okay, sir, though?
I think just emotional trauma. Otherwise,
Are they okay, though? Just emotional trauma. We're taking them back to their residence.
You cannot make this up.
No.
And we were both looking that way.
Yeah.
But we drove right past him.
because we were looking at the people flashing their lights.
Yeah. I was like, where the is the and we got it.
Yeah.
Miraculously, all of the gerbils
There's the image. The famous image that will rule them all.
survived and were returned safely to Petland. Matthew Pancake, the stylized gerbil bandit, was charged with 3 counts of breaking and entering, He initially pleaded not guilty. On September 17, 2024, Matthew entered a plea deal and pleaded guilty to all 3 counts. He was sentenced to 12 months in the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction and asked to pay a fine of up to $2,500.
Tell me that isn't amazing. That isn't a fucking amazing story. The perseverance of gerbils. That's pretty intense. Who would have thought? Who would have thought they can do it? Let's see if I got some more videos. Like, I didn't do much today because I've had a headache since I literally woke up. It's been intense, but I know I grabbed a couple. Check out this news story coming from David Pakman, but it also involves a bunch of other left-wing authors, podcast hosts, different things. Check this out. All hell the gerbils. That's right.
We are now in a situation where it seems as though the Trump administration is trying to get Amazon to ban my book. I'm going to explain to you what we know. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but this is what I believe is now going on. A Reddit thread.
He probably hit restitution limits. I would say it's way more than that. All the broken glass and shit, plus the response by the police.
Was created this week. The Reddit thread is called Trump Admin Trying to Remove Books from Online Marketplace. The person...
Let me say, if this is true, this is huge. Okay? If this is true, this is huge. And this person who shared this seems to be credible. Other people that were asked about this seemed to validate it, but saying they didn't want to talk about it because it was like a nuclear bomb, right? The person who shared this has a bunch of background of working for Amazon Web Service, AWS, right? And a branch of the U.S. government, an agency within the U.S. government, is allegedly saying that they will not renew their contract for Amazon servers if Amazon doesn't pull down these books. And they're books that are critical of Donald Trump.
The person who posted this is a regular poster in the Amazon AWS subreddit and seems to have deep knowledge of Amazon cloud hosting, very much indicative that they are indeed an employee of Amazon. In the post, they write, "This is insane. I work for a very large cloud services provider. We have a lot of government clients. Another side of our company sells books online. You have 100% heard of them." So, of course.
So clearly he's talking about Amazon.
It appears that they're referring to Amazon, the individual.
Well, it seems they probably will. I mean, it's a Bezos company. They are talking to their lawyers about whether this is legal or not. But is this the loss? This is the same reason, everybody gets mad at ABC, but this is why ABC buckled, right? This is why they buckled in court. You're going up against the guy who he's doing all of this fucking favoritism shit, taking funding away from schools, banning legal groups from like working within the DOJ, being allowed in federal courthouses, all this shit, and no one's stepping up to fucking stop him. He's manipulating the stock market and then bragging about how much money his billionaire friends made.
Seems to work at Amazon AWS. Continues. Today, my boss got this email that one of our largest government clients is going to cancel their contract if we don't remove these books that are critical of Trump. This is nuts. We have nothing to do with the book side of the business. And even if we did, this is censorship. I can't believe this is happening. My boss is pulling his hair out over this. No one knows what to do. Let's take a look at the email. The email seems to say book removal request. We just see the OK in book removal request. Please be advised, we were recently contacted by Redacted regarding renewal.
If this is a scam, it could be. If this is a scam, that means somebody made this email up and put it on there. But he's also posted as if he worked for Amazon for the last several years on Reddit. So if he's faking that he even worked on Amazon, this is a scam that's been like 3-4 years in the making.
Of their contract. Redacted maintains that they will not move forward with contract renewal unless the following books are removed. Blank informed blank that we have no input on that side. I don't even know who we would contact about this. The books requested for removal. And
so they told him, like, look, we don't do anything with that side. We're the web services. We don't do anything with Amazon Marketplace. Well, I don't even know who we would tell. Like, hey, they're saying they won't renew unless we move these. So the book names are Donald Trump, Fox News, and the Dangerous Distortion of Truth, Democracy Awakening, Notes on the State of America, Too Much and Never Enough, How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man, Mary L. Trump, Shameless, Republicans' Deliberate Something, Something, Something by Brian Tyler Cohen, Forbidden Love Seat, a J.D. Vance and Usha Vance something by J.D. Bowinger, How the People Trumped Ronald Plump by Brian and Ed Krasenstein. You know those guys from, they're the Trump reply guys from Twitter. That's how they became famous, was replying to everything Trump posted on Twitter the first time he was running for election. Melania, Devourer of Men by J.D. Bowinger. The Echo Machine, How the Right-Wing Extremism Created a Post-Truth America by David Pakman, the guy we're watching right now. Those are allegedly the books that they requested for removal. And the SKU numbers are right, or the ISBN numbers. These numbers underneath them are accurate.
as you can see at the bottom, The Echo Machine, How Right-Wing Extremism Created a Post-Truth America, David Pakman. It has the correct ISBNs. You will also notice that our friend Brian Tyler Cohen's book is...
Oh, there's the other ones. So, Shameless Republican Deliberate Dysfunction and the Battle to Preserve Democracy. I'm sorry. A J.D. Vance and Usha Vance story, a novel, I guess. How the People Trumped the Ronald Plump. I think I read the rest of them.
Is on the list. Heather Cox Richardson's book, Brian Stelter, Mary Trump, etc. We did some digging and made contact with a couple of Amazon AW.
So they've tried to verify this story, obviously. They don't want to run with it if it's just bullshit. It just makes them look bad, right? So they've made contact with people that work there.
U.S. employees who said, essentially, no comment. I'm not touching this. This is radioactive. We were able to make contact with someone who did acknowledge knowing a little more. And they said that this has been sort of brought up the flagpole and that legal as well as higher ranked folks at Amazon are now evaluating.
So you can say like Jeff Bezos might fold because he's friends with Trump. But I think even bigger than that, Amazon might fold because will they find anybody to represent them? Who wants to go up against the government when he's treating it as his own personal revenge machine? You know what I mean?
This. Now, could this be an extraordinarily elaborate hoax where the person making these claims has been posting for months with expertise about Amazon AWS in order to do this exact thing this week? It's theoretically possible. It seems extraordinarily unlikely. So now the questions are the following. Number one, which Trump government agency is doing this? Number two, how is Amazon going to respond? Number three, would others follow suit if Amazon were to delist my book, which, by the way, we've already had preliminary conversations with lawyers. This may very well be a violation of the First Amendment.
A legit violation of the First Amendment, right? Everybody wants to scream First Amendment on social media. And as much as I believe social media should just keep people off of it, like I believe there should be a free voice on social media, free speech. But it's not that the social media has to follow the First Amendment, right? I think on social media, the only thing that should be banned is shit that's illegal. Everybody else ought to be able to debate it freely, right? But if it's illegal, it should be pulled down. But this is the actual government silencing someone through a business.
In the sense that it would be government imposing limitations on the speech of others in exchange for government contracts. This is potentially, by far, the biggest scandal that has even tangentially touched this show. And it wouldn't be that tangential. It would be pretty head on. I hope by tomorrow to have more information about this. Some of the questions that I would love to ask people in the audience, and you can contact us confidentially, info@davidpakman.com. Number one, does the image that we put up comport with the internal Amazon AWS communications platform?
I hope he gets more proof of this,
Totally been,
to be honest with you.
It seems consistent, but I would love something direct and someone more willing to say it directly. We will keep your name completely out of it. That's question number one. Number two, can anyone at any level at Amazon independently corroborate that this specific discussion is taking place? And do you know anything about where that stands right now? Any information anyone has, we would really appreciate, because we are this is uncharted territory. We have never been targeted in this way. And it is a reminder that when months ago I said, lawyers are starting to warn me, there are ways in which this administration could start to touch progressive independent media. Brian Tyler Cohen's book is on the list. My book is on the list. We are in uncharted territory. So if you have any information you can provide, please get in touch. info@davidpakman.com. Make sure.
I'm not saying that Amazon doesn't have the right to whether or not to host a book. Amazon could come out today and say, David Pakman, we don't want your book. We're not going to do it. We don't like what it says. We think it's dangerous. We think you're stupid. It doesn't matter. It's the government saying we will penalize you if you host this person's book. That's not okay.
You're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're on the Substack newsletter. Anything you can do is...
Not to mention, it's been almost 90 days, right, since Trump opened up this meme coin that we have no idea who's sending him money through it.
So appreciated, because we're really up against it right now. As soon as I have more information about this, I will come to you with it. We are now...
I do not know if they ever... Let's see. Did they ever update this? There's the Amazon part. Let's go through the rest of his videos since then.
Well, the obvious is now happening. There are calls for an insider trading investigation over the Trump stock market fiasco over the last 10 days. You might remember that this week Donald Trump posted, "This is a great time to buy," just minutes before stocks exploded upward. Coincidentally, right after he announced a sudden pause on these disastrous tariffs, and markets soared for the day. S&P 500 jumped over 9% in an afternoon. Trump's own media company ticker DJT was referenced in his post, which some people sort of read as a not so subtle wink wink. And now Senator Adam Schiff is asking the question that we should all be asking, which is, does Donald Trump commit insider trading or market manipulation? And I want to talk about what that means. Insider trading is illegal when someone uses non-public material information to buy or sell stocks for personal gain. For example, if the president knows he's about to make a move that will dramatically move markets.
And that's any insider information, right? It's not just like any information that the regular public doesn't have access to.
And he or someone who knows that he's going to do it profits from that knowledge, that would be illegal insider trading. There's also market manipulation, where you're creating artificial market movements through misleading statements or rumors or timed announcements, also to benefit yourself or other people that know what you're doing financially. That is also against the law. Now let's go back to Trump. The setup is Trump's trade war. Trump's trade war drove markets into chaos and stocks were tanking.
Tesla stock's at 250. It was at 420 or 430 when Trump took office.
Down 14.5% from their peak on March 24th. You then get the flip. Trump abruptly pauses most of the tariffs with no hint that it was coming. And in fact, after spending 3 days alongside people that work for him, denying that that's what they were going to do. That causes markets to spike, bond yields stabilize, oil prices recover, and of course, S&P 500, NASDAQ, as Trump calls it, the Dow, they all surge. The post, of course, is Trump saying this is a great time to buy on Truth Central, timed perfectly.
So what I'm more concerned about, I think Destiny put it well when he was talking about the cabinet. What I'm more concerned about is, yeah, he made that post online. If he's willing to say this is a great time to buy online to the entire world, what the fuck was he saying behind closed doors to people?
for this massive one-day rally. If it sounds coordinated to you, you are not alone. And Adam Schiff says that he's going to investigate. Now, Senator Tim Kaine says that people on the street, even barbers, have expressed suspicion that this was all a sort of pump and dump insider trading style fiasco, because that's what it looks like. You create a panic, drive prices down, pull a surprise reversal, and cash in on the rebound. Well, the obvious is now happening. There are calls for an inside.
It's very, very, very weird. Whether it's, I don't know.
Confused Donald Trump stood outside the White House yesterday to answer questions, nominally, as to why he stopped the tariffs or paused the tariffs.
This is the same thing they bring up with Congress all the time, right? If Congress has access to information no one else has, are they just supposed to put it out of their head when they go through their trust to buy stocks? If they're going to do stocks, it needs to be handled completely separate from them with no input from them, like a 401k that's managed by someone else that they can't give input to or something. And then the people on the right, the MAGA people, are like, well, what about this person? What about that person? Nancy Pelosi. Good. Start an investigation and jail them all. If you think I'm going to be like, oh no, Nancy Pelosi was guilty too, let's not investigate. I'm not. Jail them all. If you can prove they've used knowledge that was not available to the regular public to trade stocks, jail them all across the fucking board.
Tariffs, better said. Trump doesn't know. He's not able to explain it. Now, of course, in the vacuum of an explanation, suggestions include this was an...
Well, he was at that dinner. He spoke at a dinner. All right? He spoke at a dinner, and he basically reiterated the same thing. Great time to buy, put money in the stock market kind of deal on stage. But what was he saying when he wasn't on stage? Because there's a video of him bragging, saying, look at this guy. He made $300 million yesterday. This guy over here, he made so many million. They're very happy with me. That's what he says in the Oval Office, recorded.
Insider trading pump and dump scheme, which we will talk about later and is now under investigation. This was Trump not really having a plan, but because the stock market was going down every single day and people's retirement accounts had lost 15%, he panicked and reversed. But when Trump is actually asked for an explanation, why did you pause the tariffs? The explanations leave a little something to be desired. Here is Trump asked, was it the bond market that made you pause? See if you can make heads or tails out of this answer.
It does take guts, believe me. Was it the bond markets that persuaded you to reverse?
I think it was. So typically we see like, okay, we've got money floating around, and if the stock market's doing good, the bond market will go down and more people will be in the stock market. The bond market doesn't have a real big return, but it's stable. Okay. And when the stock market gets all crazy, right? They take money out of the stock market and it flows to the bond market. What we don't ever want to see is the stock market, people taking money out of the stock market and people also taking money out of the bond market. Because that just looks like everybody's pulling their money away from the U.S. in general. And the bond market went kind of crazy the night before he flipped the tariffs back off.
I was watching the bond market. The bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy.
Yeah, he'll pardon them and say that it was a witch hunt. They're allowed to trade stocks. I didn't give them any information. That's a witch hunt. Fucking pardon. But we should at least push him to that. The more we set on our heels and say we're not going to do anything because he will pardon them or because the Justice Department won't go through with the investigation or because they won't take it to court, the more it gives him lateral movement to say they're not even investigating me anymore. They're not even trying anymore. I still think we should investigate it. We should publish the documents. The public should know, has a right to know. And if he decides to do nothing or pardon them or whatever, that's on him. But at least it needs to be out there.
I think everything had... Well, the big move wasn't what I did today. The big move was what I did on Liberation Day.
Right.
We had Liberation Day in America. We were liberated from all of the horrible deals that were made, all of the horrible trade deals that were made. And I was helped by people...
Notice everyone standing behind Trump looks like they're at a funeral listening to this.
Just like this. Senator, congressman, and friends. Right?
All right, so he doesn't really know. Was it the bond market? Well, I don't know. I looked at it, but it was last night or it was today. And really the thing was the Liberation Day thing, but people were getting queasy. It doesn't really sound like every aspect of this was part of a beautifully orchestrated master plan. It doesn't sound like that at all. A very confusing...
It never is. It's just him stumbling into some shit, and then it fucks up, and then he puts it back the way it was, and then it's back to, oh, I saved us from this shit that I fucked up. Somebody said it the other day in chat that he could set your fucking house on fire. No, I was in a comment section. He could come in and set your fucking house on fire, and then call the fire department. The fire department puts it out, but your house is destroyed, and they would be jumping up and down saying he stopped the fire. Yeah, but he also set it on fire, and you're living in a homeless shelter right now because he burnt your house down. But he stopped the fire. That's the art of the deal, baby.
Donald Trump stood outside the White House yesterday to answer questions, nominally, as to why he stopped the tariffs, or paused the tariffs, better said. Trump doesn't know. He's not able to explain it. Now, of course, in the vacuum of an explanation, suggestions include this was an insider trading pump and dump scheme, which we will talk about later and is now under investigation. This was Trump not really having a plan, but because the stock market...
Oh, we already watched this one. Let's do this one.
Gasparino is a correspondent, a reporter on Fox News, for lack of a better term, a reporter on Fox News. I know it sounds funny. And occasionally, he will just sort of acknowledge basic realities about the world around him. And he made clear yesterday, after Donald Trump paused the tariffs, that Trump didn't win here. Trump is the one who capitulated. And Gasparino even says, this pained me to admit, but Trump didn't win this thing. Trump's the one who gave in. Take a listen to this.
Well, I mean, because of the mixed messaging, how can you doubt them? I mean, let's be clear what happened. Who capitulated here and why? And I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American.
And I work on Fox News, where we're supposed to say Trump always does everything right.
But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources. And the reason why is because of the bond market and what happened last night.
Yeah, that's what I think it was.
Better than anybody. When you have yields on the 10-year rising to 5%, stuff starts shutting down. When you have the lending markets screwed up. By the way, who was dumping the bonds? Somebody asked him if it was China, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It was Japan. While he was negotiating with Japan, according to my sources, who are running major money management firms that are involved in the bond market, without giving up names, Japan was dumping bonds because they believed this was not a great place to do business. That forced their hands. Now, what you can say, I think, legitimately here, is Trump decided to take the win. And here's why. There was overwhelmingly, deal potential here among the entire world, except for maybe China, right? Everybody really wanted something. So he did take the win, but make no mistake about it. Peter Navarro was talking, as of yesterday, about not taking the win, and now they did. And it's all because of the bond market. I want to put...
So Gasparino, he's got to soften the blow, and he has to couch it as this is a win in the sense that we are seeing the bond market stabilize, and there were some countries who agreed that they'd be...
Take the win. We just stopped losing because you had a shitty plan.
Willing to come to the table to negotiate, even though we were originally told this is not a negotiating ploy, this is just what needs to be done because other countries are doing bad things and it's not up for negotiation. You all know, because you've been following this now for weeks, that there is no rhyme or reason to any of it. But the key part is that Gasparino knows that the White House capitulated. Though they didn't... The idea that they came to the table willing to negotiate, that doesn't actually solve anything. You still got to negotiate, and you've got to get whatever deals fixed that Trump claims are unfair. Charlie Gasparino.
This is like hitting yourself in the hand with a hammer. Over and over and over. Like you break your pointer finger, and you break your middle finger, then you break your ring finger, and then suddenly you're like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. And then people are like, yay, you saved your thumb and your pinky. We saved it. Art of the deal. Look how good my thumb and pinky work. What the fuck?
Here's a compilation from Sarah Longwell.
Oh, this is the, where he's at, National Republican Congressional Committee dinner.
All of the MAGA-affiliated people over the last 3 days saying, no, we're pausing. Of course.
This time I'm doing what I want to do with respect to the tariffs.
Would you be open to a pause in tariffs to allow for negotiations?
Well, we're not looking at that.
The president was asked to answer this yesterday. He said he's not considering an extension or a delay. I spoke to him before this briefing. That was not his mindset. He expects that these tariffs are going to go into effect.
There's no postponing. They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks. That is sort of obvious. The president reset global.
They're not postponing.
There's any chance that President Trump's going to back off his tariffs? This is the reordering of global trade.
We're going to hold the course, and this has been years in the building, years in the making.
This time I'm doing what I want to do with...
And just like that, the tariffs are paused. Now, here's there's going to be one takeaway to each aspect of this that we deal with. The first and critical takeaway here is that they are bragging about stocks being up yesterday, even though it didn't nearly recover the losses, and they're down another...
Again, only MAGA could tell you that winning is wiping out $6 trillion off the stock market and then regaining $4 trillion. I'm going to give you $600. You give me $400 in change, and I'm going to claim I got one over on you.
Another 3% today. Here's Trump bragging. We've never had a day like this ever.
When you see what happened today, I don't know if it's still there. You know, this was, I looked an hour ago, but we were up like close to 3,000 points. Nobody's ever seen a day like that. I think that's a record, isn't it, fellas? Definitely. Is that a record? Who would have thought we were going to have a record like that after watching? But because...
And there is Lutton.
Who would have a record after that? Anybody who did something that directly causes the sharpest drop in fucking decades is probably going to turn that off and see the quickest rise in decades.
Yes, sir. Now, of course, an actual person who cares about reality would say, well, sir, with tears in my eyes, I do have to mention we were down 15%. We've only recovered part of it. Even accounting for yesterday's recovery, this is still one of the worst starts economically to any presidential term in 50 years. And by the way, nothing really has been resolved. And that's why today the Dow is down another 1,000 points. Here's a
That's right.
And I want to point out one other thing because of China. There will not be a TikTok deal, okay? That the White House has confirmed to me that is basically off the table.
So now, of course, you might...
Oh, because of China.
Could that possibly be true?
Just doing the same thing that we're doing to them.
Trump
Got it.
TikTok now. Now, of course, he has conflicting motivations. He wants to...
Oh, that's another video I wanted to show you. You guys know that Elon Musk, what was his number? How much number is he going to take away from federal spending? You remember the number he promised? $2 trillion was his number. $2 trillion. $2 trillion what he promised. In the roundtable meeting they had, that Trump televised or whatever, Elon Musk, in his best looking prediction, is now predicting like less than 6 or 7% of that. I can't remember what the percentage was. I think he said 150 billion. They said they were going to get 2 trillion. Now they're talking about 150 billion. And that's with his bullshit pumped up numbers that are contracts that were already canceled, contracts that have been fully paid. Like, it's still a bullshit number. But they're claiming 150 billion. And for some reason, he says fiscal year 2026. So I don't know if that's future savings for next year. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Hurt China, but he also wants to probably keep TikTok as he sees it as a platform where he got his message out, he believes, to young people during the election. And there are people on both sides of the aisle that want to save TikTok. There are some people on both sides of the aisle that want TikTok to go. I wouldn't read much into this other than Gasparino is correctly identifying that there is a huge emotional component to this. And because Trump's mad at China, the primary prism through which the TikTok future is evaluated is, can I hurt China by denying TikTok access to the American market? Whether any of this will come true, we have no idea, but it reminds us of the vindictive and childish nature of the way that this White House does business.
I want to point out one other thing because of China.
I don't know if he's getting... Okay, these are all pinned. Yeah, here's the video I was going to show you. This is from yesterday. Musk says he expects to save $150 billion from waste and fraud. Now, that's no, like, tiny amount, but it's nowhere near $2 trillion. And that's still with his pumped up bullshit numbers.
Trust needs to be whole for the American people. When we need it for who deserves it.
And $150 billion isn't going to get any. First of all, they said they were going to be checks, $5,000 checks. Then they said we're going to take it off your taxes. $150 billion split across every taxpayer in the United States isn't going to be shit. If that number was even true.
Well, thanks to your fantastic leadership, this amazing cabinet, and the very talented Doge team, I'm excited to announce that we anticipate savings in FY26 from reduction of waste and fraud by $150 billion. And some of it is just absurd, like people getting unemployment insurance who haven't been born yet. I mean, I think anyone can appreciate whether, I mean, come on, that's just crazy. You know, some of these things, people ask me like, well, how are you going to find waste and fraud in the government? I'm like, well, actually just go in any direction. That's how you find it. It's very common. it's, as the military would say, target-rich environment. So I think we're doing...
That's his claim from his own mouth right here in this fucking roundtable meeting that they like to make a big fucking show out of. We all talk to each other all the time. That's his own claim, $150 billion. And that's still his pumped up numbers that have been widely disputed over what he can cancel. Some of it's already been paid out. Some of these contracts that they canceled have already been fucking paid, and they're done. They're closed. Some of them closed out under Joe Biden before Trump even took off last year. In October of last year, the contract was done, null and void, all paid out, completely over.
A lot of good and excellent collaboration with the cabinet to achieve these savings, and it will actually result in better services for the American people, and that we're going to be spending their tax dollars in a way that is sensible and fair and good.
And your people are fantastic. In fact, hopefully they'll stay around for the long haul. We'd like to keep as many as we can. They're great, smart, sharp, right? Finding things that nobody would have thought of. Very computer savvy.
Well, you know that his son can turn computers on.
Went hard to get the Trump Gold Card operational, hopefully in the next week or so.
That'll be great. That'll be very exciting. It's really exciting.
All the places that have ever had. I cannot relay to you how fucking dumb this is. Social Security Administration. That literally their target audience are people over 60. Yes, they do other things. Yes, they do disability. Yes, they do survivor benefits. But by orders of magnitude, more people are the people over 60. They have decided, as a cost-saving measure, they will only be distributing information, doing updates and announcements only through the Twitter platform now. Of the U.S. population that is 60 and over, only 8% of them have ever used Twitter. It's not only from Social Security. I don't know why. You just say dumb shit sometimes. Why would you have the Social Security Administration only connecting with people through other than to get Elon clicks? I know what it's for, right? It brings more people to his platform. He wants every government agency and every business to only use Twitter. Why the fuck would you go only to Twitter? Right now, what they do is when something changes, they mail people out and they post everywhere. Right? They post on all their social media. They mail it out. They do posts on their own website. But now, ever since Elon Musk visited them, they're only going to be posting on Twitter for important information about Social Security Administration. Updates, information, alerts. That's so fucking stupid. You can't even justify that in a way that it's not corruption. That it's not, hey, we're just doing this because Elon Musk told us to. How much money does it possibly save from having one person that posts on the main Twitter account and also having that person post on Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms, right? TikTok, everything. You're telling me that's a substantial savings? I could understand if they sent out something that said, hey, if you don't want to receive paper or mail anymore, let us know and follow us here for updates. And if you do want paper, fine. Not everybody's on the internet. We'll send you paper ones. I could even agree with that. This is bullshit. They made it, hold on, we'll see if we can find it. They made an official announcement today. I think it was one of the trending topics, if I'm not wrong. The whole U.S. now has to use X as a resource for all SSA news. Fun nuts, X isn't even the most popular social media site. New, Social Security Administration is cutting comm staff, their communication staffing, instead sending press releases or dear colleague letters to advocacy groups. It'll post updates here on X, a decision even regional Social Security Administration commissions thought was strange when they broke the news to their teams. SSA Midwest West Regional Commissioner Linda Kerr Davis told employees in a call Thursday that those regional offices will no longer issue press releases or dear colleague letters to advocate groups. Instead, the agency will be using X to communicate to the press and to the public, formerly known as Twitter. Kerr Davis said, "This will become our communication mechanism." Elon Musk, the leader of the Department of Government Efficiency, bought Twitter in April 2022 and rebranded it as X. If you're used to getting press releases and dear colleague letters, you might want to subscribe to the official SSA X account so you can stay up to date with agency news, Kerr Davis said. "I know this probably sounds very foreign to you. It did to me as well, and not what we are used to, but we are in different times now." Social Security Administration will be shifting its public communication exclusively on X, sources tell Wired. This is the article I was looking for. Social Security Administration will no longer be communicating with the media and the public through press releases and dear colleague letters as it shifts its public communication exclusively to X, sources tell Wired. The news comes amid major staffing cuts to this agency. We are no longer planning to issue press releases of those dear colleague letters to inform the media and public about programmatic and service changes, said SSA Regional Commissioner Linda Kerr Davis, blah, blah, blah. Instead, the agency will use X to communicate to the press and the public, so this will be our communication mechanism. Previously, the agency used dear colleague letters to engage with advocacy groups and third-party organizations that help people access Social Security benefits. So they might have sent this to third-party groups that help people in Social Security, right? Recent letters covered everything from agency new identity verification procedures to updates on the accuracy of SSA death records. Less than 1/3 are erroneously reported deaths that need to be corrected, the agency wrote, in contrast to what Elon Musk already claims. The letters and by the way, they had to come out and refute the bullshit Elon Musk has been spreading. I don't know if you guys saw that. They actually come out and said that, hey, there's no issue here. It's less than 1/3 of erroneous, misreported death records that need to be corrected. And none of those people are receiving benefits. The letters and press releases were also a crucial communication tool for SSA employees who use them to stay up to date on agency news. SSA staff cannot sign up for social media on government computers without submitting a special security request. The change could have negative consequences on the ability for employees to do their jobs. It could also impact people receiving Social Security benefits who rely on the letters for information about access benefits. Do they really expect senior citizens will join this platform? Asked one current employee. Most managers aren't even on it. How isn't this a conflict of interest? Another staffer added. This will ensure that the public does not get the information they need to stay up to date. Linda Kerr Davis also did not immediately respond to a request for comment by Wired. The reporting is misleading. The Social Security Administration is actually communicating with beneficiaries and stakeholders, says Liz Hudson, a White House spokesperson. There has not been a reduction in workforce. Yes, there is. They've even admitted it. They're closing a bunch of regional offices. Rather, to improve the delivery of services, staff are being reassigned from regional offices to frontline help allocating finite resources where they are most needed. President Trump will continue to always protect Social Security. Elon Musk, who's leading the charge to radically reduce the size of federal government on behalf of President Trump, bought X in October 2022. The platform has for years battled the spread of misinformation. After he purchased the company, Musk fired contract content moderators and shifted content moderation efforts to crowdsource fact-checking tool called Community Notes. In 2023, an EU official warned the platform was a major source of fake news based on commissioned study that reported Twitter has the highest discoverability of disinformation. The regional office workforce will soon be cut by roughly 87%. Sources tell Wired. Regional office staff manage IT support, policy questions, labor relation issues, reasonable accommodations guidance, and public relations. Since February, the SSA has cut 7,000 jobs, according to the Washington Post. Today, the agency has 547 employees working in nearly a dozen regional offices. Previously, the number is closer to 700, but many people have retired, a current employee with knowledge of the staffing number says. After cuts, the number is expected to be closer to 70. We know that you all depend on these folks to manage your front line to help with questions, said Kerr Davis. I'm going to be pretty candid here in sharing that the support will be pretty minimal until we can stand up our skinny regional office. So even the leader of the Kansas City regional office is like, hey, we're not going to be able to support people until we figure something out. Kerr Davis acknowledged that restructuring could limit the agency's ability to combat fraud, a major goal, allegedly, of Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Won't losing subject matter experts lead directly to fraud, waste, and abuse, she asked on the call, reading a question from SSA staffer. And yes, I mean, we do rely on their help. Things are going to break, and they're going to break fast. On the call, Kerr Davis sounded, by the way, was it Benny Johnson? Who was it that said, hey, if my grandma, no, it was Jesse Waters. If my grandma doesn't get her Social Security check, she's not going to be upset. She doesn't care. She'll just say, it'll probably be there next month. Only the scammers are the ones who pop out and say, where's my check? You didn't send me my money. On the call, Kerr Davis sounded resigned as she relayed news of the changes. I know this probably sounds very foreign to you. It did to me as well, she said. It's not what we're used to, but we are in different times now. There you go. This has to be a wild conflict of interest. Does it not? A wild fucking conflict of interest. Let me ask you, we watched this video and I really didn't dive into it as deep as I thought I should have. Let me ask you if you think anything in this video is fucking true.
Special needs toy importer. And when the tariffs went into effect at midnight, his tariff,
oh shit.
He's been paying.
I need the part right before this. Hold on. Here, I got it. Here, just listen to this audio. It's that guy talking, but here's the first part of it.
New York Post that we have in the New York Post that we all have in front of us. It's an exclusive story, and it talks about how with these 104% tariffs that went into effect, we think that China is going to have to pay for it, but it tells a story of a special needs toy importer. And when the tariffs went into effect at midnight, his tariff, he's been paying a tariff because he gets stuff from China, $26,000 a year. His tariff bill went from $26,000 at midnight to $346,000. And that's money he's going to have to come out of his pocket. It sounds like he's going to have to go ahead and close down part of his business. He tried to make the toys in the United States, but the tariff on that, his most popular item, went from $0 to $17 at midnight. And what he told the New York Post is people don't understand the tariff situation. They think just foreign countries are paying for the tariffs. That's not true. Half of the tariffs are being paid for by U.S.-based companies. Yeah. So when you look at the...
That's not true either.
Remember that according to this guy, half of the small businesses and half of the tariffs are being paid by Americans. Well,
now I want you to listen again to what he says at the very first of this. And you tell me that Fox fucking News, with all the resources they have there, as long as they've been covering the news, as long as they've been talking about things, as long as they've been doing this, do you genuinely believe what he says? He says, we thought, as if he's talking about everybody at Fox News, like we at Fox News, we thought that China paid the tariff. Listen again.
It's an item in the New York Post that we all have in front of us. It's an exclusive story, and it talks about how with these 104% tariffs that went into effect, we think that China is going to have to pay for it, but it tells a story of...
Do you think that Fox News actually thinks that China pays the tariff? Or do you think that because they're under Trump's thumb, because Trump is the president, because other news agencies are getting banned, because he already blacklisted them once just for calling the Arizona race for Biden, that they have to tell their viewers China pays the tariff because Trump says that China pays the tariff. And then when they're faced with the story saying, no, I have to pay the tariff, they're like, oh, we thought that China paid the tariff. Very strange story we're seeing here. Of course they fucking knew. And they've been sitting here for months telling people like, oh, the crazy liberals think we pay the tariffs. They don't know how the economy works. And now that they finally cannot continue that line anymore, they're like, oh, man, we were fooled. Even Google can tell you who pays the fucking tariffs. Historically, we can see who pays the tariffs. China ships the product to the United States. When it lands at a port in the United States, the port authority says, this has a $700 tariff bill on it. How the fuck is China? They already shipped it. We can't put a tariff on it in China. They already shipped it. It's sitting here. The only way to get that bill paid is the person who picks that motherfucker up has to pay that bill before they release it. I've had shit sent at the port before. I know other people have that had an import tax on it, a tariff. They will not release it to the shipper until you pay that. Lying motherfuckers, dude. That's what they do. That's how they roll. That's how they do this. Here's some, I love that you voted for this. By the way, I voted for your business to have 0 tariffs and a $50,000 small business tax break. That's what I voted for. You voted for all this, motherfucker.
All right, I hate asking for help. I'm not asking for any handouts, but I'm a small business owner that is directly being affected by the 104% tariff.
By the way, when people are saying, well, you voted for this, he's like, wow, hateful much? I thought you were the party of empathy.
That has been put on China. I import alloy wheels for cars, and I do somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 containers a year, which is a small business in regards to this industry. At 104%, I am absolutely going to implode and will not last 6 months. So with that said, I'm asking, is there anybody out there that has connections with manufacturing facilities, specifically alloy wheels, either in the United States or outside in these lesser tariffed countries like Mexico, Indonesia, Thailand, India? I need to find another source. I've emailed a lot of these companies and cannot get a response. And I just don't know if it's because I'm a small business or what exactly it is. So if anybody's out there that can help or shed some light, maybe provide some information that would be helpful, I would really greatly appreciate it, because if not, it's just...
It says right there, I voted for Trump and now you're putting me out of business. I hope this is better for the country.
It's a small business here that's going to go under, and I'll be back to digging ditches again, which I'm not scared to do, but it's a little harder to do with a wife, 2 kids, and at 45 years old. So
yeah, it fucking sucks. But you need to at least come out and say, I should have never voted for this motherfucker. I'm done. The Republicans have fucked me for the last goddamn time. Something. Not just, can't believe I got caught up on this. Can everybody else help me survive?
let me know if you guys have any suggestions. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. All right.
Anyways, the comments are wild with him saying, oh, you're so hateful. I love this for you. Damn, that's wild because I voted for zero tariffs. So I voted for your company and you voted against your company. Got it. Elections have consequences. Enjoy yours. Wow, so hateful, is what he said back to her. These comments don't disappoint. Haha. Trump thinks you can tough it out. So just tough it out. Hope that helps. By the way, these tariffs weren't turned off. These tariffs went up more. And then China retaliated and put 124% or whatever on the U.S. Wait for one of those new factories. All right, here's a comment. You didn't care about other people's lives getting destroyed by this man, people losing jobs, legal immigrants targeted. Now you care because it's impacting you? He told you he would do this. The creator responds, how do you know I didn't care? Because you still fucking voted for him. Your vote told on you, bro. J.D. Vance said that when money is tight, people just rely more on your parents. Hope this helps. Let's not vote for the blatantly racist oligarchs next time. May you have the future you voted for. I never thought the leopard would eat my face, says voter of Leopard Eating Faces Party. Bro still has Fox News on in the background. I didn't even notice that. You got a nerve to say Mexico while voting against their people. Thoughts and tariffs, brother. Baby, everything after I voted for Trump sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. I couldn't hear it. Look, I'm sorry that this happened to you. My anger is that you all don't care until it affects you personally. My question is, do you regret it? Donald J. Trump getting voters to vote against their own interests since 2016. Mark Cuban reposting this because he told you so. I voted for Kamala. Not only would you have gotten to keep your business, but she was going to give you a $50,000 tax credit. You're getting what you voted for. But this is better. But is this better for the country? He's still defending it. Like, oh, this is better for the country, just not my business. He's really helping small businesses out there. The New Republic reporting, it turns out that no one at the ports is actually collecting Trump's tariffs. A technical glitch has created the biggest hiccup in Trump's tariff rollout. Thanks to a technical glitch, Donald Trump's tariffs haven't even been collected at U.S. ports. On Friday, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported that an entry code in the U.S. system for American ships to use to have their freight exempted from tariffs isn't working, and the issue is being reviewed. As a result, no tariffs are being collected by the U.S. government for the time being. Uh-oh. U.S. shippers told the news outlet that they have not been charged higher tariff rates on their containers as recently as Thursday, despite Trump's claims that the tariffs are in effect and are being collected. This latest snafu is on top of the fact that many companies and industry groups are still unsure of when tariffs will be collected, especially since Trump keeps changing the rates erratically in social media posts and executive orders and making new threats almost daily. There has been some confusion on what President Trump has said in social media posts on when the tariff starts and what is written in the executive order. Vice President of U.S. Sales and Logistics at Savino Del Ben told CNBC, social media posts are not law on the pause and increase in tariffs. Again, that is confusing. When Trump said, okay, your tariff just went up 10% on social media, when does that go into effect? Who collects it? Where's the document? This is why Congress, the only way he's getting away with this is he's saying it's a national emergency. This is why Congress should pass tariffs. And if he wants tariffs, that's fine. Go tell your Congress where you have a supermajority or a majority, where you have a majority. Go tell your Congress, hey, we're getting fucked here. We're getting fucked here. These are the tariffs I want. Let's see if we can get them in place. Boom. Done. With the constant changes to the regulations, all customs brokers in our industry have a difficult task ahead of them. If there were doubts about the tariffs being a wise policy, those have increased several times, though the fact that U.S. authorities can't even implement them right now. Whether you agree or disagree with policy, you have to ask, do we have the ability to do this rapidly? McNeil, managing director, the senior policy analyst at consulting firm Longview Global, said to CNBC, this glitch may be an indication we need more time. It seems odd this is the time it happens. This adds policy chaos for the implementer. For now, CBP is telling shippers to pay duties and tariffs within 10 days of their cargo's release, at which time it expects the glitch to be resolved. But the whole mess is just further evidence of a complete lack of strategy, planning, or direction with Trump's tariffs. It doesn't inspire confidence from the marketers. I have a question. How many people are going to be confused, rightfully so, with when tariffs are on, when they're off, what the rate is? Are we going by his fucking Twitter? Are we going by the actual documents? What are we going by? And they're going to collect the wrong tariffs. And then the government, in 6 months, 8 months, whatever, is going to come after those people, potentially jail those people, but at minimum, they're going to go after them for fucking penalties because they didn't implement the tariffs, while Trump's changing them every 15 minutes by way of Truth Social. Could you imagine if you were doing your taxes this year and the head of the IRS was on Twitter changing what's tax exempt, what isn't, what your rate is, what you're not paying, what you can write off, how much the child tax credit is every day? And you're trying to legally file your taxes, because that's the same thing these businesses are going through. If they don't pay the tariff rate, they're going to get in trouble. No one even knows what the fuck it is. So this is.
Honestly, this story sounds like it should be straight from a movie. We now know about the exact moment that
Did you guys see the White House reporter for Fox News get attacked by the bird?
Trump had his oh shit realization and decided to back down from the tariffs. We also know the exact
It's like at the same time every night that fucking chat just dies off.
reason why Trump decided to back down, and two things can be true at once. Yes, Trump brazenly manipulated the market and allowed his friends and allies to get ahead before reversing course, but also he was scared. He was scared shitless because
I got to start earlier.
Together in a clever way and essentially twisted Trump's arm so hard that he was about to
I think everybody's watching me till they fall asleep. I need to start earlier.
barrel roll. Genuinely, Trump thought he was gaining leverage over every single country by acting like a madman or whatever the hell the theory was, but the other countries had a reverse Uno card and gained leverage over him. I'm going to break down how Canada's Mark Carney basically pulled a stunt out of like a James Bond movie. But first, let's start with this Fox News clip. This is a top U.S. trade representative downplaying how much families are going to have to pay.
Companies. But in the meantime, they say it's going to cost the American household $4,800. What do you say to those households?
Well, first of all, I would say with respect to those projections, a lot of those are Wall Street analysts who have a lot to lose themselves. In the first term, we put a lot of tariffs on China, and we saw similar predictions. Those ended up being wrong. Inflation went down. I think the economic fundamentals of our country are still very, very good. And while there may be an adjustment, I think we're going to be on a good path, and I don't think we're going to see that level of increase in household expenses.
Yeah, I know.
In Trump's first term, he put a 10 to 20% tariff on China.
Yeah, it's Peter Ducey.
That is way different than a 10% tariff on the world, except for Russia and North Korea, and then a 145% tariff on China. By the way, that's probably going to go up today. If you're watching this video a few hours later, there's a chance that the tariffs have gone up even more. They continue to go up. But also, I love how this dude implies that the Wall Street analysts are just lying because they have a lot to lose themselves. Listen, he says,
Wall Street analysts who have a lot to lose themselves.
No, dude, everybody has a lot to lose. I mean, yes, there are a lot of flaws with the American economy and healthcare, but we do have a lot to lose with these tariffs.
Who is it affecting more? If I can, it's all I can do to keep $500 in the bank. And there's someone else who has several $1 million in the bank. Who is an increase of $5,000 a year going to affect more? I have $5,000 right now worth of fucking vehicle repairs to do to Mariah's car that I can't fucking afford. You think Elon Musk has that problem? You think Wall Street analysts have that problem?
If prices begin to skyrocket and we go into a recession, we're losing everything we built thus far. Again, the Biden economy was far from perfect. There's a lot of wealth disparity in America that we need to fix ASAP, but that doesn't mean that everything we've built up to this point should be erased through tariffs and terrible trade policy. But I do want to go over to Mark.
By the way, we typically cover air traffic stuff as well. Did you guys see that? I don't know what, that fucking helicopter just imploded on itself, dude. The whole fucking tail broke off.
Carney's pretty brilliant checkmate move. It's actually really funny because it kind of reminds me of like Breaking Bad. You know that Mark Carney was the head of the Bank of England and the head of the Bank of Canada, right? So he's using his financial skills and know-how to pull a trick on Trump in the same way that Walter White had these chemistry skills and then he used it later in his life.
So it could have been Canada trying to manipulate the bond market.
To cook meth, I guess. So when Trump announced his
Carney, Japan, and the EU proved America's idiot emperor has no clothes.
Tariff regime, it was 125% on China, 25% on Canada, and then these Liberation Day tariffs across the world. And he removed the Liberation Day tariffs, but the Canada tariffs are still on, China tariffs are still on, and there's still a 10% tariff across the board. But Trump was expecting everyone to flinch, but Canada didn't, China didn't, most countries did not flinch. In fact, when it comes to Canada, they played it so cool that Mark Carney was able to get Trump to drop the tariffs. A lot of the credit here goes to Mark Carney and a few key other countries like Japan, and the bloc of the EU also helped a lot. So again, Canada decided to play it cool. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who recently replaced Justin Trudeau and who's up for election soon, was quietly doing something pretty clever. He was organizing the financial equivalent of a firing squad. Again, it's like out of a movie.
They got together and manipulated the bond market. I wouldn't say manipulated. They started pulling out of the bond market, and that's what caused the pile. I'm almost sure of it.
It's like when Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting is just so smart that he can outwit anybody. And I'm not saying that Mark Carney is a genius or whatever like that character, but I'm just saying that Mark Carney used his financial know-how to come up with a quick scheming plot to push Trump down. So Carney's checkmate, how Canada's quiet bond play forced Trump to drop tariffs. Let's talk about the moment Trump blinked. It wasn't loud, it wasn't a tweet storm or a rally rant. When the tariff threats had the world on edge, a bunch of tariffs on China and Canada, a global trade war, Trump softened. A pause, he called it, a complete turnaround from the chest thumping of the past week. And the reason, Mark Carney, and a slow, deliberate financial maneuver that most people didn't even notice, and most people still don't notice. The coordinated treasury bond slow bleed. Slowly bleeding our treasury, which, listen, I don't want the American economy to do poorly, but when Trump is trying to gain leverage over every other country, I honestly do not.
I think Trump thinks that other countries are not allowed to talk to each other about like this stuff, right? They got to come grovel to him. They got to come beg him. But other countries at some point are going to say, are you guys getting fucked? Like we're getting fucked? Well, we're tired of getting fucked.
Not blame Canada for trying to twist his arm back. In fact, I'm glad that they did and got him to drop it. And then here's what Trump posted. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I'm hereby raising the tariffs to this point. Then he claims we're doing 90% Liberation Day tariffs. And here's what Trump said after he removed the tariffs.
Started the morning saying be cool. And just a few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through what you were thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, you're already presupposing that Trump was thinking in any way. And it's kind of funny that Trump tweeted out be cool, and then a few hours later he reversed his policy, which kind of is a sign of panic.
I decided to put a 90-day pause.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know.
What are you? No,
yeah, because it was dumb.
Almost started a global trade war and then reversed policy last minute because you panicked, all while getting zero concessions and actually leaving a lot of tariffs in place. The market hasn't climbed to where we left it. In fact, it's actually still dropped quite a bit. And always remember, a lot of tariffs are still in place right now, 10% across the board. But this is where it gets interesting.
That work for you, Tacoma?
Rewind a bit. While Trump was gearing up his trade war machine, Carney, Canada's prime minister, wasn't just sitting in Ottawa twiddling his thumbs. He'd been quietly increasing Canada's holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds. Over $350 billion worth by early 2025, part of the $8.53 trillion foreign countries hold in U.S. debt. On the surface, it looked like a safe play, a hedge against economic chaos. But it wasn't defense, it was a loaded gun. Mark Carney was loading up on American bonds, Treasury bonds, so he could unload them at a key time. And this Substack post coming from Dean Blundell then continues, Carney didn't stop there. He took his case to Europe, not just for photo ops, but for closed-door meetings with EU's heavy hitters. Germany, France, the Netherlands, Japan was in the room too. Listening closely, the pitch was simple. If Trump went too far with tariffs, Canada wouldn't just retaliate with duties on American cars or steel, it would start offloading the Treasury bonds. Not a fire sale, nothing so crude, but a slow, steady bleed, a signal to the markets that the US dollar's perch wasn't so secure. And today, we saw markets dumping the dollar in Asia early Friday. Currencies within the foreign exchange crashing. Going back to this article, Carney didn't stop there. He took his case to Europe. It was a slow, steady bleed. This says Canada's PM got an agreement with UK and France to dump American bonds if the tariffs continued. He then warned Trump on their call that the US dollar would drop like a brick. Trump paused his tariffs today after watching the bond market bleed last night. And, you know, that's a win for Canada. That is a win for the entire world that wanted Trump to chill out. So essentially, to wrap things up, Mark Carney got a bunch of countries together and had
It's almost like the world doesn't thrive on these crazy, drastic changes that come out of fucking nowhere and have no reason or rhyme to them. That change on the whim of a Twitter account.
a metaphorical loaded gun pointed at the U.S. And if Trump took things one step further, they were going to crash all markets, and it would disproportionately hurt the U.S. while other countries aren't as affected, which is honestly kind of a genius strategy. And that's why I said it's like out of a movie. It's like Mark Carney had this plot based off of his years of financial work, and I think it's pretty cool. I mean, beyond it being cool, it was also necessary. We need any sort of checks on Trump that we can find right now, whether it's the Supreme Court saying he has to return an immigrant, whether it's a lower circuit court saying that he's got to stop doing X or Y, or whether it's other leaders, teaming up to stop him, or whether it's Democrats calling out his lies and his market manipulation. We will stay on his ass every single day. And if you want to help grow this channel and beat some of the biggest MAGA media movers, all you have to do is scroll down, subscribe, hit the like button. I truly do appreciate everybody who watches my videos. It means more than you know. Every single time you click on my videos and you spend these 10 minutes with me, it's always great. So thank you so much. Let's continue growing, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Check out Adam Mockler. He does a pretty good job. I guess I'll show you this real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Well, yesterday, folks, a Bell 206 helicopter.
I don't know if you just saw that, but a sightseeing helicopter. There's another angle of it. I don't know if this guy has the other angle from a security camera. And basically it's flying along like if this is the helicopter, right? So you got a main rotor, a tail rotor here. It's flying along in front of the security camera. And what it looks like is it turns towards the camera, right? It's just flying along and it turns towards the camera. But what actually happens is the tail completely collapses and it forces it to turn towards the camera from the rotation of the blades.
Well, yesterday, folks, a Bell 206 helicopter crashed into
the main rotor separated, the entire tail and tail rotor separated.
River on a tourist tour. Everybody's life was lost on that aircraft, and let's take a look at what led up.
There was a family celebrating a mother's 40th anniversary or 40th birthday, and their 2 kids and the pilot. Father, mother, 2 kids, and a pilot.
To this incident, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts on what happened.
Squawk the street, radar contact 700, traffic about a quarter mile EC westbound, indicating 600. Clearing in 1,500, altimeter 3033.
If nothing struck it, it didn't hit it. I don't know what could cause. I mean, a cracked airframe or something. But these get so many fucking inspections, or at least they're supposed to. This doesn't make any sense. The motherfucker just folded up like that.
1,500 is the 038.
Let's talk about the lead up to what happens here in this incident. This Bell helicopter is taking tourists on a tour of the Hudson River, and I've actually done this very tour before, not in a helicopter, but in a T-34 Bravo with a friend of mine. And there's a VFR corridor, visual flight rules up and down the Hudson River, so you have to stay below the Class B.
I'm going to see if I can find the other video.
Like this, and you have to be at 1,300 feet or below, but as long as you're below that airspace, it's called a Bravo tour, right, for that Class B airspace. So they'll keep these airplanes down below that certain altitude, and most of them are at 600 to 1,000 feet as they fly up and down the Hudson. On the one side is Manhattan, on the other side is New Jersey, and then as you go farther up the Hudson River, you actually get into some beautiful green spaces up there.
All right, let me grab this and I'll show you what actually happened. I know he's going to do a good job describing it, but I want you to see the first videos that come out were literally just it falling out of the sky the way it did. This one right here, from between these 2 buildings, you see it flying from this building over here. See my cursor where ABC News is? It disappears for a second, then all the action happens right here. It is fucking insane.
We begin tonight with this new video of that horrific panoramic view of the crash from the moment something appears to shift. Something happens.
And you're going to see it. So the helicopter needs a tail rotor because there's so much torque from the main rotor. If it didn't have a tail rotor, let's just say it was a cab with a main rotor on top, the cab would constantly be spinning against the centrifugal force of the rotor. So the tail rotor is how they turn, how they decide the nose, but it also has a constant pressure applied to where when the main rotor is going, it has a constant to keep it straight instead of it just spinning around constantly. So when you lose that tail rotor for whatever reason, of course the compartment of it is going to start spinning around.
That helicopter, and then it's plunged right into the river.
God damn, I have not heard that, but I hope, man. There's so many regulations. They're really cracking down. I'm a drone enthusiast, right? I fly FPV and photography drones, all kinds of shit. I got a bunch of drones here. But they have been trying to basically take it away from regular people and just make it almost impossible to fly. The regulations are getting so crazy. But there's very, 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 very few times that a drone's ever struck any type of aircraft.
All of it in under 10 seconds. It came crashing down, landing upside down in the water, and today the mangled fuselage.
I think 2 of them made it to the hospital, but were pronounced dead the next day.
Lifted out of the waters. Tonight, this video believed to be from inside that same helicopter last September, showing what the passengers would have seen. This evening, we're learning more about the family of 5 and the pilot on board yesterday afternoon, all 6 dying in the crash. The family visiting from Spain, the father, Siemens executive Agustin Escobar, his wife and their children, 4, 8, and 10. They were celebrating.
I mean, they were here on vacation. Siemens already has jobs here. I don't know if they were bringing more, but Siemens already has a pretty big footprint in the United States.
Celebrating the wife's 40th birthday, and their middle child would have turned 9 today. The pilot tonight identified
eyewitness testimony is ridiculously unreliable.
As a Navy veteran, 36-year-old Sean Johnson, posting this video to Facebook just 2 weeks ago, flying over Manhattan. Investigators are looking at all of the possibilities. Was it a bird strike? Was it a major mechanical malfunction? Why?
I don't know. I mean, it would, to fucking separate the goddamn tail. What type of drone are we talking about? Like a fucking military drone?
Did the rotor come apart from the helicopter? ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky on the scene again tonight.
I just want you to see this video.
And what investigators are saying so far.
All right, here's the video. So it just come out from behind that. It's the only thing in the sky. You can see this dot here. You guys want me to zoom in on it? I will. And make sure we're not sped up. All right, watch.
New video obtained by ABC News.
That was it. So it looks like, I can slow it down actually. So basically what it looks like is something breaks, obviously, but it turns towards us, towards the camera, way faster than it ever possibly could actually turn.
New video obtained by
Boom. And then it's just sideways. And now that it doesn't have a tail rotor, it's going to flip, tumble, spin. It's going to do everything as it falls. It's just a rock now.
Doomed sightseeing helicopter twisting in the air before breaking up.
That's rough. It wasn't like, I mean, short of he didn't do some type of inspection, it wasn't like pilot error, right? It fucking broke apart. The only thing I can figure is something may have struck that tail rotor, right? Earlier. And there could have been a vibration, but he didn't report anything. But there could have been a vibration, and that vibration got so bad, eventually it broke it loose. For something to strike that tail rotor and or the tail boom and knock it off, that was going to be something huge that people would have reported and seen, right? Huge.
Apart and dropping out of the sky. Watch the top left part of the screen. The chopper passes behind that high rise, then appears to turn to its right and disintegrate. Pieces of the tail rotor flying, the main rotor spinning off as the helicopter plunges into the Hudson River, crashing upside down. Federal safety investigators are poring over the wreckage, and the Army Corps of Engineers is helping salvage pieces still in the water. Tonight, the NTSB is investigating reports of a large flock of birds in the area and is appealing for public help.
If you want to contact us because you believe that you have information that could be pertinent to our investigation, please reach out to us.
Apparent pieces of the helicopter are still floating here in the Hudson River. We can see writing on what may be part of the fuselage, along with cushions from the helicopter's seats. Every piece crucial to the investigation.
The thing is, you never know when you're in an accident investigation. It might be one bolt, it might be one screw that would give you the key to finding out what exactly happened.
The 17-minute flight ending in unspeakable tragedy for the family of 5 from Spain that was on board. Agustin Escobar and his wife Mercedes, both executives at global tech company.
Yeah, the propellers separated afterwards. You can see it land and shit. Mast bump explained. What's this?
How did this Bell 206 helicopter and
it had to be something from vibrations. The main rotor touched the tail boom, something.
End up crashing with its own rotor blades, slicing through the tail section, and then...
Oh, okay. Well, that's what this video claims, I guess. It's an AI video, but still.
We'll break down the detailed timeline of events along with several theories behind the crash. And one stands out the most. This is mast bumping, a dangerous event where the rotor hub strikes the mast, often caused by abrupt control inputs or low G maneuvers. Not to forget the recorded conversation of the air controllers.
New York 39, back with you for Bravo,
We have the full audio until it crashes and more details all in the video ahead. This is a detailed timeline of how the hell
you can get, so with crazy like maneuvering, you can get enough flex in the rotor blades and the boom flexes too, to where a rotor blade you could strike yourself with a rotor blade. It would have to take incredibly crazy maneuvering, right? Or else they would just make it where you can't do it. But it's like beyond the flex that they should allow on the helicopter.
Helicopter crash on April 10, 2025. In the evening around 2:59, a Bell 206L4 Long Ranger 4 helicopter registration N216M.
By the way, these AI videos are never always right. I've just watched this because it's interesting. I'm not saying this is definitively what happened. That somebody throws these together just for views. Okay.
Operated by New York Helicopter Charter, departs the downtown Manhattan heliport on a sightseeing tour. The flight, its sixth of the day, includes
literally AI writes the script for him.
5 passengers: Spanish Siemens executive Agustin Escobar, his wife Merce Camprubi Montal, and their 3 children, ages 4, 5, and 11, along with a 36-year-old pilot, were on board the helicopter. 3 to 3:08 p.m. The helicopter flies south, circles the Statue of Liberty, then turns north along the Hudson River, ascending to approximately 1,000 feet. It continues past
I've wanted to take a helicopter tour before.
The George Washington Bridge before
in New York.
Head south along the New Jersey shoreline 467. 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Witnesses report loud noises resembling gunshots or a sonic boom as the helicopter begins to disintegrate midair. Video footage captures the tail rotor and main rotor blade detaching, followed by the fuselage plunging into the Hudson River upside down near pier of Park Hoboken at a 45-degree angle. 3:17 Eastern Time. The helicopter crashes into the river, fully submerging in 50-degree water. Let's take a closer look at how the crash might have happened from a technical standpoint.
The one good thing is the response and dive teams and stuff were there quick as fuck, dude. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I read that they got 2 of them to the hospital. They ended up dying, but still, I mean, that's pretty fucking quick.
The 2025 Hudson River helicopter crash appears to have been caused by an in-flight breakup of the aircraft, with key issues involving the rotor and tail. Eyewitnesses and aviation experts reported that the helicopter's main rotor detached midair, slicing through the tail boom. This caused the aircraft to spiral out of control before crashing into the river. The catastrophic nature of the failure is consistent with the wreckage, missing rotor blades and a disintegrated tail section. One theory put forward by aviation professionals is mast bumping, a dangerous phenomenon where the rotor hub strikes the mast, typically caused by abrupt control inputs or low-G maneuvers.
That's crazy, though.
Kind of event can severely disrupt rotor balance and may lead to rotor separation and total loss of control. Mast bumping is especially associated with two-bladed teetering rotor systems, like those found on Bell helicopters, including the Bell 206 model, involved
It's much more likely to happen on a 2-bladed rotor.
in this crash. The Bell 206 is a family of two-bladed single and twin-engine helicopters manufactured by Bell Helicopter Company. Introduced in the 1960s, its siblings were widely used during the Vietnam War, as well as in military and law enforcement roles. According to the National Transportation Safety Board and various aviation safety databases, it's a pretty safe aircraft. The accident rate is
Usually this is caused in, like he says, low G, extreme turbulence. Now this seemed like a clear day. He's out on a sightseeing tour. What the fuck was he doing to run it away? That's insane.
3.5 to 4.0 per 100,000 flight hours, which is typical for light helicopters in this class. We got the actual flight controller audio, so this is how it happened.
I used to work right here all the time. There's a power plant out here in Bayonne.
EC westbound indicating 600. 330 and 1,500, altimeter 3033. 1,500 is the New York 38.
This is where the helicopter is going for the Hudson River tour.
Alright, just confirm, is it 39 or 38? The code's 39. Actually, yeah, 39. 39. Thank you. 39, stop there, traffic, 699, New York 39, roger, LaGuardia 2605. LaGuardia, thank you. Copy, no, LaGuardia, New York 39, back with your 4 Bravo tour. New York 39, LaGuardia, South 3032, Bravo tour approved. New York 39, traffic 2 to 3 o'clock, about south, southeast on helicopter 1,300, heads in sight. New York 39, looking for that traffic, can I also get that check out? New York 39, leading the Bravo, research, turn, scope before, picture, cruise, traffic, scope, base, north, south 15 helicopter. Got that traffic,
The crazy crackhead hotel we stayed on was actually on the Hudson River, where you could like still rent rooms by the hour and shit, vibrating beds.
This is where it goes up the river to George Washington Bridge, then turns around to fly around 900 feet, and the flight controllers kept searching for the missing helicopter.
I think we looked it up on Google Maps one time, didn't we?
Research, turn, scope before, approved, and is there anything you see in the Hudson? Anything out of the ordinary? Clock RN, negative, Metro 21. Roger, thanks.
This is the Black Hawk helicopter that collided with a civilian airplane just a couple of months ago.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with it.
Airline's Flight 5342, which we'll refer to as the landing flight, was on its final approach to runway 30.
All right, that's it. I just wanted you to see the video. It's a pretty crazy video. Insane, honestly. Like to break up that quick and that The fuck? Something obviously catastrophic failure. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Support the show if you want to at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. Thank you very much. If you want to support the show, that's how I pay for it, and it's cheaper than cable. You'll see the website and all my links there. Even if you don't want to pay or make a donation, go there and follow me, especially on my TikTok. I'm trying to get up to 10,000 followers on TikTok. I know for some reason, there's way more people here than there ever is. So please go follow me on TikTok. All my other accounts are there, including a link to our Discord and all that shit. Twitter, whatever. Follow me on all those social media sites in case I lose one. You can still find me. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. And we'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to...
Oh, I forgot. This camera's probably off where we lost power earlier, isn't it?
...working balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world.
You got here just in time, Marion.
Balls. You don't have balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off. It's about to get lit.
I don't know where all you people are coming from, but thanks. Thanks for the views. Appreciate it.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in the beds. You know that's
Hate watchers. I don't know.
better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped
No big deal.
beating his chest like he's king.
Thanks for joining us.
For attention, I'm gonna make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quit that.
Thanks, you idiot.
Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk.
There's going to be sometime before we go to the beach in July. We're going to hang out at my aunt's house in July. Sometime before we do that, there's going to be a couple days I'm going to be working on the car. I got $5,000 worth of repairs to do to Mariah's car for the fucking water pump. So I'll probably be gone for a couple days there. I might make TikTok videos or go live from there or something, but I'm probably not going to be. I'm probably going to be working all day on the car, maybe a couple days. So make sure I don't fuck anything up.
Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped him to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa. Stop.
You guys have a good night.
Get my files.